So I said that I wasn't going to show you any of the random stuff that I normally administrate, but I'm actually doing it this time, but not to actually show that off. Instead, I think it would be a good idea to talk about what really went well with that mission, what went wrong, uh, because it's important to understand not just that we won, but why we won. To analyze the things we did right to make sure that we try to do them again. Because if you just chalk it up to luck, well, whatever. So we did a couple of things that are typically bad. For starters, a lot of standing still, not typically a great idea. But the reason that I felt confident doing that is that the enemy was mostly made up of mechs that were very fast or jump capable. And the more these mechs kind of jumped about, the more they fucked with their own shooting. And that combined with the fact that we were able to get cover kept us pretty safe from retaliation most of the time. Uh, Not to mention, there was just a fair bit of fire being split from between the enemies, so not a lot actually got done to us. You can see kind of from what I'm replacing here, we didn't even take any critical damage. It was all just on armor, and of course we've got some things that we have to contend with vis-a-vis uh, replacing ammunition. But in general, that went exceptionally well, and part of it was just kind of awareness of the terrain. Uh, we made a decision early on to head to the side and mostly use that hill as a place to cover. Went straight for a uh, tree line that we could use to mess with the enemy's line of sight. Combined with the fact that it was dusk, it really threw off the AI, kept it from getting good shots, while we could consistently take good ones just by standing in cover. Um, I have to say that part of our victory does go to the AI help that we had. Kind of impressive. Don't know whether exactly to chalk it up to luck or whether the AI is maybe a little smarter than it used to be, but they seem to know a good bit better when to flee, when to advance, when to back off, and they ended up taking a bit of damage, but nothing that they couldn't handle. So in the end, they actually took out one of the units for us. Definitely helped us overall achieve our final goal, and ultimately returned alive, which is by and far the most important thing they can possibly do. Um, in addition to that, I do want to point out one thing here. This tank that we immobilized actually was immobilized not by a destroyed internal piece, but by its motive system just being jacked. And this offers us an interesting opportunity. We don't currently have a vehicle tech, just a normal mechanic, but if we ever get one, oh, and by the way, that guy who passed out, apparently we convinced him to defect. Uh, I don't know about this guy though. I mean, just take a look at him. Wilford Hardy. Uh, is he not listed under that? What's he listed under? Is there like a list for prisoners? Yeah, probably. Look at this guy. He's a 4-4, but he's got some injuries going on him right now. Now, this is a neat new dialogue that they introduced. Just kind of personalizes the kind of hurt that this guy's under. You bruises, cuts, sprains. This guy did take a nasty set of hits while he was inside his mech. So uh, this is apparently what it would be like if he was just healing normally. Um, and because of the damage that he's taken, he's got a penalty to his piloting right now. But he's just a regular. Now, granted, he's a regular that's got a little bit more piloting than your normal regular, but he doesn't have a mech. He's not that great. And from what I saw of him, he spent a lot of time engaging really deep where he really shouldn't have. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like this guy's a chump. We'll treat him right. He's assigned under our he'll get assigned under our doctor, I think. Yeah, there we go. But whether we're gonna keep him on, I don't know. He's willing to defect. I guess I gotta make note of that. But overall, we may just trade him back for the bounty or the well, actually, I guess that he's a from the Draconis Combine. So they just pay a ransom for him. So just add in a thing. But yeah, point I was making is I was hoping to get some vehicles working for as add-ons to our teams this time because vehicles have a unique ability in against the bot in as much as they count for only half of their tonnage towards your squad's weight limits. And that can be extremely helpful for, say, rounding out some tonnage that you might be missing with a thing that can provide some long range support. Now, the way these guys are using their tanks, they're the AI. They don't know better. They've got AC5s and a machine gun. Machine gun, I mean, it's 2 damage, but it's not going to do much. But they brought it in close. They've exposed it to enemy fire. The AC5 has a range that is well more than most lasers, and so they could have just parked it back. Now, of course, the AI doesn't know any better. Uh, but just saying, if we had access to vehicles like this, we would know to park it in the back, well away from fire, and just allow it to provide some extra support. That said, not sure whether I'm really going to invest in a Vedette. The medium tanks, I mean, they're light. They are, what is it? 60? No, definitely not. What kind of tonnage are these suckers? Yeah, 50 tons. The count is 25 tons. As light as some of the lightest mechs. We could definitely squeeze that in somewhere, but I don't really know if I'm going to be feeling that. I'm really looking for something that's got more range to it, something with more lerms. Uh, but yeah, getting back to the topic of what went well, what didn't. Uh, we did stand still a bit too much. I kind of felt like I got a bit complacent on that with how much they were missing. Because those weren't guaranteed misses. We did just get a little lucky there. As such, it's important to remember that we need to not make a habit of that. We've really got to try to make moves where we can, even if they're not going to get us great targeting acquisitions. Because if the enemy hits us, you know, that's every single time a chance that we lose a mech, we lose a pilot. The enemy's hitting them one more time ain't necessarily a lifesaver because, well, there's always more enemies. There's always more problems. It's the XCOM dilemma, you know? You can risk a soldier in order to go and get that extra hit out on an alien, but you took out the alien, excellent. But if that's followed up with something that risks the life of your soldiers, if you lose that guy, then that's all the investment you had in that guy gone. That's a bunch more resources you have to put together to replace him. Just in general, it's not a wise investment in the future. So you always have to be aware of that. And just make sure that you're not getting too cocky. Now, in the future, we'll probably uh, have to kind of measure that against the fact that although it is important to not be cocky, we'll also be using much heavier mechs, ones that can take some punishment. So, you know, maybe we'll just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. Who knows? Important thing is always that we keep winning. Sounds really obvious in retrospect. In any case, I did just kind of want to touch on the things that we went well. I'll probably try to wrap that up into uh, the end of the match analysis next time. This was kind of an afterthought, thinking, all right, well, if I was actually doing this demi professionally, what would I do at the end to help people learn how this game works? And I think a little post-op analysis seems like the right way to do it. But for now, I'll go ahead and let you guys go while I'm doing boring stuff. So, see ya.